So the iPhone 13 Pro Max has been announced, but how does it compare to last year's iPhone 12 Pro Max? Well, today I'm going to do a bit of a comparison for you guys. So that's right guys, the iPhone 13 Pro Max is now out, and what an incredible iPhone it is. Even though it might have the number 13 inside it, it is definitely not an unlucky phone with the specs that it has inside it. So today I've decided to show to you guys a kind of comparison of specs of the iPhone 12 Pro Max versus the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So let's get started. So on the left hand side we've got the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and on the right hand side we've got the iPhone 12 Pro Max. I will refer these to the iPhone 13 PM for the Pro Max and the iPhone 12 PM for the Pro Max going forwards. So let's start with the display type. So both of these phones have an OLED display. Now we first got OLED on an iPhone on the iPhone 10 or the iPhone X, and it was always put in the premium phone or the premium iPhone all the way up to the iPhone 12. And when we got to the iPhone 12, all the models decided to get an OLED display going forwards. So the same technology is in both of these displays. For actual screen size, they're both identical as well. The actual sizes of both of these phones have got exactly the same at 6.68 inches, so there's no differences there. The same again with screen resolution. They have a 16:9 ratio for both of them, and the actual resolution is 2778 by 1284 for both of these phones. Then moving on for pixel per inch, you guessed it again, they're both identical. They both have a 458 pixels per inch or PPI on both of these handsets. Now, display refresh rate, this is where things change. On the iPhone 13 Pro Max, we actually have a 120Hz Pro Motion. We've been waiting for this for years to come inside an iPhone, and this year we have finally got it. Well, on the iPhone 12, we've only got the standard 60Hz refresh rate, what we've had basically on iPhones since near the start. Then for the display protection, both of these phones have that brand new ceramic shield that was introduced on the iPhone 12. So both of these phones actually have the same exact ceramic shield. There's been no enhancements on them. So any scratches or dents onto the screen, the same sort of impact will be on both. Next, we actually have the processor or the CPU inside it. So every year, Apple upgrades the CPU inside their actual iPhones, and it's been no different this year. So this year, the iPhone 13 Pro Max has the brand new A15 Bionic, and the iPhone 12 has the A14 Bionic. Both of them are made on a 5nm press, as it were, but the A15 Bionic, the actual one that's inside the 13 Pro Max, actually has one extra GPU core compared to what you've got inside the A14. So the A14 actually has a 4-core GPU, and the A15 has a 5-core GPU. But both of these have the exact same amount of cores for the CPU. So we have 4 efficiency cores and 2 performance cores, but the performance and the efficiency cores have been clocked differently and to be more powerful and more efficient inside the iPhone 13 Pro Max over the iPhone 12 Pro Max A14 chip. Next of all, we have the RAM amount. Now, the RAM amount is exactly the same in both of these handsets. We both have 6GB of RAM, and they actually are the same type of RAM as well. So they're not any faster or any slower in either of the models. They're exactly the same for both the 13 Pro Max and also the 12 Pro Max. So let's talk about storage next. So on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, we have an option of 128GB, 256GB and 512GB. But now on the 13 Pro Max, we have exactly the same lineup, but we've also got a 1TB option. This is a first for an iPhone. But as per usual, like with all iPhones there has ever been, there is no expansional sort of storage inside, so you can't put like a micro SD card inside your iPhone to expand the storage out. If you need more storage, what you need to do is back up your bits and pieces up to iCloud, or that trade in your iPhone and get yourself an iPhone with a larger storage capacity. Next, we have the operating system. Both of these phones can run iOS 15, so this is both the 13 and the 12 Pro Max. Next is to do with the actual battery size, and this is where there is a difference here. So the iPhone 13 Pro Max has a 4,352 milliamp battery, and the iPhone 12 Pro Max has only got a 3,687 milliamp battery. Basically, the iPhone 13 Pro Max has around about a quarter to a 1/5 sort of battery size expansion compared to what you got on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. But do remember, you do have that 120 Hz refresh rate screen, and if you're constantly using around about 120 Hz, this is going to use up your battery life much more than the 60 Hz that was running on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. For charging wise, there's been no differences really this year with the actual iPhone 13 Pro Max compared to the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So both of these phones using a lightning connection port can charge using a 20-watt charger. If you did plug in the likes of say a 30-watt charger, still both of these phones would charge at 20 watts. You can also still use the wireless MagSafe on the back as well, and this will charge at 15 watts. Next, let's talk about the weight, and the weight has changed now on the iPhone 13 Pro Max with that new 120 Hz display panel, and also that larger battery inside, and also that the actual phone is slightly thicker than what you get on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. The 13 Pro Max weighs just a little bit more, only 12 grams more, but compared to the iPhone 12 Pro Max, the 12 Pro Max is a lighter iPhone. Next of all, we actually have the water resistance. So the water resistance is exactly the same on both of these phones for the 13 Pro Max and the 12 Pro Max. They are both IP68 and they can withstand up to 6 meters underwater for up to 30 minutes. This is clear water, but I'm sure if you did chuck it in the sea for a couple of meters, it'll be okay as well. But just make sure you do rescue it as fast as you can. So, just quickly, this channel has just hit over 230,000 subscribers, what is absolutely amazing. And we did a giveaway of a MacBook Pro M1. Well, I've got you some great news, guys. We're doing another giveaway, and it is for this. It is for an iPad Pro M1 with 8 GB of RAM and 256 GB of storage. Now, anybody can enter in to win this giveaway around the world. It is an international giveaway. But all I want to know from you guys is basically, what Apple tech are you planning to buy in 2021? Or what other tech are you planning to buy if it's not going to be Apple tech? Write it down in the comments below, and make sure at the same time as well to subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell, because when we get over 260,000 subscribers, I'm going to be revealing who the winner is of this iPad Pro. So make sure you do that right now, because you'll want to know if you're going to be the lucky person to get your hands on this iPad Pro. Also at the same time as well, if you're enjoying this video so far, please make sure to press the like button. Well, let's get back to the video. Next, let's talk about the ports on the actual iPhone. So both of the phones have a Lightning port. There is no USB-C coming to the iPhone this year, so they're exactly the same and they run at exactly the same speed. There's also no headphone ports on both of these iPhones. You would have to use Bluetooth headphones, or you'd need to use some AirPods. Next of all, for stereo speakers, both of these iPhones have stereo speakers, and in fact the speakers are almost identical on both the phones. There's no big upgrade on sound this year really. Then for 5G connectivity, the iPhone 12 was the first iPhone to bring in 5G connectivity, and it's the same this year with the iPhone 13 and also the Pro Max models, and that is that you get 5G, but you only get mmWave in the USA, what is a slightly faster type of 5G, and only the models that are being sold in the US will be able to use this technology and also come with that technology built in. For Bluetooth wise, both of them have Bluetooth 5.0. There's no changes here for the 13 Pro Max or the 12 Pro Max. But then when we move on to cameras, things change a little bit here. So on specs wise, there's not much difference. As you can see here that both of them have a triple lens setup. They both have a 12 megapixel wide, ultra wide and telephoto lenses. And also they both can record up to 4K video, and they both have that LiDAR sensor. But the iPhone 13 Pro Max can let in much more light, and it is far better for nighttime photography. Whereas the 12 Pro Max, you can only use the normal wide lens for nighttime photography. The other two lenses aren't really built for it. There are also some other rear camera features that are additional on the iPhone 13 Pro Max compared to the 12 Pro Max, and that includes the Apple ProRes format, and basically this allows you to record at a special kind of pro kind of level video, and it allows you to record at 1080p and 30 frames per second with this. And also all the iPhones, including the 13 Pro Max, have that brand new cinematic feature built right in, where the iPhone 12 Pro Max do not have these two additional options. On the front, things are very similar for both of the actual iPhones. They both have a 12 megapixel camera and they can both record up to 4K. But one thing to notice though with the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and that is the actual notch, what holds the kind of Face ID and the main camera on the front, it's actually slightly smaller. It's actually 20% smaller than it is on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Next of all, let's talk about the price. So the prices this year are identical to last year's prices. So the iPhone 12 Pro Max, when it came out, had 128GB storage as its base model, and this cost $1,099. This year again, with the 13 Pro Max, the 128GB base model starts at $1,099 as well. For colours, there is a little bit of a change this year, as you can even see in the pictures. We have got the standard silver, graphite and gold, but this year we have lost the Pacific blue, what we got with the iPhone 12 Pro Max, but the iPhone 13 Pro Max has a brand new type of blue, what is called the Sierra blue. Well guys, that is a comparison of the actual specs of the two iPhones. So what iPhone model will you be buying? So as you can see, the iPhone 13 Pro Max is an incredible iPhone with lots of amazing specs. However, the iPhone 12 Pro Max is still an amazing iPhone as well. And if you can get your hands on one with a really good deal, I still would recommend looking out for one of these iPhones. I've owned the 12 Pro Max for the last year and it's been absolutely incredible the time I've had it. And I'm going to miss it moving on to my 13 Pro Max. Well guys, it's also time to wrap up this video, so if you have enjoyed watching it, please do press the like button, and also at the same time, if you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews and comparisons like this one, make sure that you subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell. Until next time guys, I will see you soon. Bye.